Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, where you receive real and authentic updates about the Iraqi dinar. The latest discussion surrounding the Iraqi dinar has once again brought attention to one of the most closely watched institutions in Iraq's financial system, the Central Bank of Iraq. Recent commentary and reports circulating among dinar followers have focused on statements indicating that the central bank has no intention of devaluing the Iraqi dinar and is actively working to counter misinformation, rumors, and speculation that continue to spread throughout various media channels and social platforms. For many observers of Iraq's economy, this position is not entirely new. The Central Bank of Iraq has repeatedly emphasized its commitment to maintaining monetary stability, protecting the purchasing power of the national currency, and supporting broader economic reforms. As a result, the latest comments are being viewed by many analysts as a continuation of the bank's ongoing effort to reassure citizens, businesses, and investors that monetary policy remains focused on stability rather than currency depreciation. To understand why these statements matter, it is important to examine the broader context of Iraq's economic environment. Over the past several years, Iraq has faced numerous economic challenges, including fluctuations in global oil prices, political transitions, regional tensions, inflation concerns, and the need for structural economic reforms. Throughout these periods, the Iraqi dinar has remained a subject of intense public interest because of its direct impact on household purchasing power, business operations, government spending, and overall economic confidence. Whenever rumors emerge regarding a potential devaluation of the currency, uncertainty tends to increase. Citizens become concerned about the future value of their savings. Businesses begin reassessing costs, and market participants may react emotionally rather than rationally. This is one reason central banks around the world place significant importance on communication. Clear communication can reduce speculation, improve confidence, and help stabilize expectations. The latest reports suggest that the central bank is taking an active role in addressing false information before it gains momentum. From a policy perspective, this approach is generally viewed as positive because credibility is one of the most valuable assets a central bank can possess. When a central bank consistently communicates its intentions and follows through on its policy, markets tend to respond with greater confidence. For Iraqi citizens, the message that there are no plans to devalue the dinar carries practical significance. A devaluation would generally mean that the local currency loses value relative to foreign currencies, making imports more expensive and potentially contributing to inflationary pressures. Since Iraq relies heavily on imported goods across numerous sectors, maintaining currency stability is an important objective for controlling prices and preserving purchasing power. The central bank's reported position therefore aligns with the interests of many households and businesses that benefit from a stable exchange rate environment. Stability helps companies plan future investments, manage costs, and make hiring decisions with greater certainty. It also supports consumer confidence, which is a key component of economic growth. At the same time, it is important to distinguish between preventing devaluation and increasing the value of a currency. These are two very different concepts. Maintaining stability involves preserving the current strength of the currency and ensuring orderly market conditions. An increase in currency value, on the other hand, typically reflects broader economic developments, improved fundamentals, stronger foreign reserves, enhanced productivity, increased investor confidence, or specific monetary policy decisions. This distinction is critical because discussions about future currency value often generate significant speculation. While supporters of the dinar frequently focus on the possibility of future appreciation, professional economic analysis requires careful attention to official statements, measurable economic indicators, and documented policy actions rather than rumors or unofficial reports. When examining Iraq's current economic position, several factors deserve attention. One of the most important is the country's foreign currency reserve position. Iraq has benefited from energy exports, particularly oil revenues, which have provided substantial foreign exchange earnings. Strong reserve levels can enhance a central bank's ability to support currency stability and manage external economic pressures. Another important factor is inflation. Central banks closely monitor inflation because price stability is one of their primary responsibilities. If inflation remains under control and monetary conditions remain stable, policymakers generally have greater flexibility in pursuing long-term economic objectives. A stable inflation environment also supports confidence in the national currency. Banking sector modernization represents another key area of development. Iraq has been working to improve financial infrastructure, strengthen regulatory frameworks, expand digital banking services, and enhance compliance with international financial standards. These efforts may not generate dramatic headlines, but they are essential building blocks for long-term economic development and financial credibility. International cooperation also plays a role. Iraq continues to engage with global financial institutions and international partners as it seeks to diversify its economy and strengthen economic governance. Progress in these areas can contribute to investor confidence and support broader economic reforms over time. When observers hear discussions suggesting that the central bank may eventually release information regarding an increase in the value of the dinar, it is important to approach such claims with balance and realism. Central banks typically make policy announcements through official channels, and significant monetary decisions are usually accompanied by clear explanations regarding objectives, implementation procedures, and expected economic impacts. Financial history demonstrates that sustainable currency strength is generally linked to underlying economic performance rather than speculation. Factors such as productivity growth, fiscal discipline, foreign investment, institutional stability, and diversified economic activity often play major roles in supporting a currency over the long term. For followers of Iraqi economic developments, one of the most encouraging trends has been the increasing emphasis on economic reform. Iraq has repeatedly highlighted initiatives aimed at strengthening non-oil sectors, improving public financial management, attracting investment, and creating employment opportunities. While progress can be gradual, these efforts are widely viewed as important for reducing dependence on oil revenues and creating a more resilient economy. A diversified economy tends to support stronger long-term fundamentals because growth becomes less dependent on a single sector. As economic activity expands across industries such as manufacturing, agriculture, technology, logistics, tourism, and services, the overall economic base becomes broader and potentially more sustainable. Another aspect worth considering is public confidence. Currency stability is influenced not only by economic data, but also by public perception. When citizens trust their financial institutions and believe that policymakers are acting responsibly, confidence in the currency tends to improve. This confidence can reduce speculative pressures and encourage productive economic activity. The central bank's effort to counter rumors can therefore be viewed as part of a broader strategy to maintain trust and credibility. In an era where information spreads rapidly across social media platforms, false reports can gain traction quickly. Timely responses from official institutions help ensure that citizens have access to accurate information when making financial decisions. From a short-term perspective, the latest statements may help calm concerns about potential currency weakness. Markets generally respond positively when uncertainty is reduced and official guidance becomes clearer. Businesses and consumers often prefer predictable economic conditions because they support planning and decision-making. Short-term implications may include improved confidence among market participants, reduced speculation regarding devaluation, and continued focus on economic reforms rather than currency rumors. While these developments alone do not guarantee any specific future outcomes, they can contribute to a more stable financial environment. Looking further ahead, the long-term implications depend largely on Iraq's success in implementing economic reforms, maintaining fiscal discipline, strengthening institutions, and fostering sustainable growth. Currency performance over time is often a reflection of broader economic fundamentals. If Iraq continues making progress in these areas, the overall outlook for economic development could strengthen accordingly. Investors and observers should also recognize that major economic transformations rarely occur overnight. Sustainable improvements typically result from years of policy implementation, infrastructure development, institutional strengthening, and private sector expansion. Patience and careful analysis are therefore essential when evaluating long-term prospects. One of the most important lessons from global financial markets is that expectations should be grounded in evidence. Official announcements, economic reports, central bank publications, and verified policy decisions provide a much stronger foundation for analysis than rumors or unverified claims. Responsible observers focus on facts, data, and documented developments rather than speculation. In the case of Iraq, there are certainly positive indicators that deserve attention. Continued efforts to modernize the banking sector, strengthen financial transparency, improve investment conditions, and support economic diversification all represent constructive developments. These initiatives may contribute to stronger economic performance over time if implemented effectively and consistently. At the same time, challenges remain. Iraq, like many emerging economies, must navigate global economic uncertainties, regional developments, commodity price fluctuations, and domestic reform priorities. Balanced analysis requires acknowledging both opportunities and risks. The current discussion surrounding the central bank's position on devaluation ultimately reinforces a central theme that has been present throughout Iraq's economic journey. Stability matters. Stable monetary policy, stable institutions, and stable economic expectations create an environment where businesses can invest, consumers can plan, and long-term development becomes more achievable. For Iraqi Dinar followers, the key takeaway is that official communications continue to emphasize monetary stability and the rejection of unfounded rumors regarding devaluation. While speculation about future currency values will likely continue, responsible analysis should remain focused on verified information and measurable economic progress. As developments continue to unfold, attention will remain centered on official announcements from the Central Bank of Iraq, government economic policies, reform initiatives, foreign reserve trends, inflation data, and broader indicators of economic health. These are the factors that provide meaningful insight into the direction of Iraq's economy and its national currency. The coming months will likely bring additional updates regarding financial reforms, banking modernization efforts, investment initiatives, and economic performance indicators. Each of these developments will contribute to the broader picture of Iraq's economic trajectory and help analysts assess the effectiveness of ongoing policy measures. For now, the message being emphasized is clear. The central bank is seeking to maintain confidence, preserve stability, and counter misinformation. Whether discussing exchange rate policy, banking reform, or broader economic objectives, transparency and credibility remain essential components of effective monetary management. As always, followers of the Iraqi dinar should continue monitoring official sources and verified economic data while avoiding conclusions based solely on rumors or unofficial reports. A disciplined approach to information is one of the most effective ways to understand complex economic developments and make informed assessments about future trends. Thank you for watching today's Iraqi Dinar update. If you appreciate responsible, factual, and balanced coverage of Iraq's economy and the Iraqi dinar, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. This content is provided for informational and educational purposes only and should not be considered financial, investment, or legal advice. Always conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before making financial decisions.